Well, welcome everyone to Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game. I'm your host, Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and money color commentator. On today's show, being a seller in a seller's market, part 5 in our series on the residential housing market with real estate expert Mike Bodeen. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Thank you.
Man, I feel like if you're a seller today, you are in the captain's chair, right? I mean, you really, sometimes you say, I should have waited, I sold too early, but today, if you're a seller, it's pretty hard. You're going to get multiple, I'm just assuming, you're going to get multiple bids. Is that true?
That's true.
And you may have it above what your asking price was.
That's true.
I mean, this is a pretty good time. Of course, my question is, what does a seller do when he sells his home? Maybe he got more than he wanted. Where does he go?
Well, that's
the problem.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
And every seller has to understand that when they go ahead and they're getting their multiple offers, if they're going to do a lateral move where they're basically going to say do it for the same price they're going to run into the same problem as a buyer. So right now it's good, but as a buyer now you're going to have to really strategize how you're going to get into that next house, because if you only want to do one move, that means that you have to find a buyer for your house, then you have to close and then immediately move into your next house to avoid a double move. If a seller has a situation, the best situation for a seller, if they haven't found a place, or especially like a community they want to live in, the best thing that they could do is if they had an intermediary home, which for some people that could be like a 3 or 6 month rental. For others, they could move in with family there. If they can do that, if they close escrow on their house, they have their proceeds, and then go and take in for the next 3 months, look for their home. When the home comes up, they're ready to go. Otherwise, what's happening is now when they're going to buy their next home, if they haven't closed escrow yet, or they haven't sold their home, it's going to make it a little tougher in comparison to the person that doesn't have to do that for their next house.
Yeah, so people that are sellers, the good part is you're probably going to get a lot. You may get more money from your home than you put on the asking price, but then turn around, fair play. Now I'm in the market, right? Now I'm looking for it. So there's issues here. Some people, I noticed that I had clients, they sold their home. They did not find what they wanted. They moved to Pine, and that's where they're living right now in their cabin, right? They're living there until they can figure out what's going on. They live with their kids on the weekend, and all they're doing is spending Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out on the market, and they're all in Santan Valley, which is so, in our area, is way out. And I don't know if that's a really good place to be. It's so far out. So I guess if you don't care about Phoenix or any sporting events or things of that nature, but you are way out there in San. Okay. Now, in a situation, so seller, it's really a seller's market. Great. And I could get more money, but I then have to think about the lateral move or whatever move I'm going to make. And hopefully, I've been thinking about this before this came up. All right, in your mind, you are on both sides of the equation. You represent buyers, you represent sellers. In your selling, representing sellers, do you give them the heads up about this? Hey, listen, are you going to turn around with me and I'm going to become your real estate to buy a new home? And do you tell them what they're up against?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have to give that disclosure to them. I try to lay out reasonable expectations from the sale of their home to the purchase of their new home. I try not to fluff it, to let them know, hey, no problem. Yeah, we can just do this, do that. Inadvertently, what happens, it doesn't happen like that. And then disappointment comes in, and who does that reflect on? It reflects on me. Right. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to let them know right up front what they can expect. I let people know, especially sellers of property, that there is a huge amount of stress on selling your property. You may not think so, but when all of a sudden, when you're having some fights with your wife that maybe you didn't have so, or you're having there's some sharp words to the kids that maybe wasn't happening so much before there, because your house is on the market and now you have to find a house, so you're
still working.
Yeah, exactly. So you're trying to be able to do all this, and the body is reacting here, and it's stressful. So I let people know this is going to happen. It's how the body responds.
So there's psychology to this.
There is.
You're selling your property. Now, even in a seller's market, the edge might be off, but still, you still have issues like, where am I going to live afterwards?
Exactly.
Okay. So let's say I'm a seller and I realize all this, and I've already taken into to account, and I'm going to try not to lose my cool with my family during this time period. And I know I'm pretty good odds. You've told me pretty good odds we're going to get this sold at asking price or maybe a little more. But are you ready to make a move? Now, when you said the one thing that concerned me was, would I move? Would I make a lateral move in a market like this, though? If it's not my final home, would I make a lateral move?
Usually not. Usually what's going to happen, a lot of people, we hear the term, we're buying down.
Right.
Oftentimes they're doing that.
Is that happening today still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, but a lot of people are doing a lateral move too. Even if they're in their 60s, they're still doing it. They may feel like, hey, I'm still going to be around 20, 25 years, and I'm not done. But I like this neighborhood, and it happens to be the same or even a higher price range.
You might be around 20, 25 years, but you may not be at the physical abilities in 20, 25 years. In fact, actually, just a little side note that I was with a client, and she says, well, I'm not really concerned about long-term care. I'm not really concerned about my elder care. I'm not really worried about assisted home living. I said, I have no problem with that. I said, can you pick up Earl, her husband? Can you pick him up right now? You're 62, he's 67, he's 230 pounds, 6'2". Can you pick him up today? And she goes, no. I said, then you're not going to be able to pick him up 20 years from now. So
just saying.
Just saying, we're bringing the reality check. So in a move like this, a lateral move, I don't know if that's such a good deal, especially if you're a senior. But going down, I get, right? I get that. No, listen, I don't know where I can go. Well, let's say I want to sell my home, but no, I don't know if I should. Is there really any money in putting money into a home? If I wanted to sell, but I've looked out there, there's nothing for me to buy, right? Yeah. I have nothing. Let's say I don't even have a mortgage. I don't have to worry about the bank or anybody else, but I don't know what to buy. Do you see, is there really money in making my property even more valuable, spending the construction? Because that's where the debate comes in the seller when he's caught in a quandary like this.
Well, first of all, what every seller needs to do, if they can, is to, before they get their house on the market, at least 3 months beforehand, if not even longer before that, they need to get that house in cherry condition. Because that's today what people want to buy.
They want to walk in ready to go. Turnkey.
There is not the money available that there was 10 and 15 years ago, where the banks would basically give you a line of credit, a $50,000 line of credit when you close the escrow. They just, here it is. That's not happening anymore. So where do people get the money to be able to fix things up? There's some great deals. Some of the best opportunities in real estate, I don't care where you are, is basically on homes that need fixing up. If someone has the financial ability to be able to buy what we would call, say, a fixer-upper or something that needs updating there, they're going to get a better price on that, because the highest price is going to go to the person that's cherried out their home, and it's great. People walk into it and they go, I don't need to do anything.
Right.
Deal's done.
Right. I was like that. I like done deal, didn't do much, right?
Yeah.
So I love things like that. And I think most people are like that. So a lateral move, I don't know about. Going down, I get. And also prepping my home. Wow, I don't know. If I can't find anything to move out, maybe I should stay put and really bring this up to spec. I mean, that's what I hear you saying. It might be worth the investment in this kind of a market. But I'm still up against it. Let's just close out our segment by talking about this, Mike. In our area, and it could be the same in LA, it could be the same in Florida, in New York, some of the bigger cities. I like the idea of getting a lot of money for my home. I do. I'm not going to say I don't. But now I'm looking at what's out of the market. Is it worth thinking about paying a little higher rent, maybe going out a little farther out and waiting this out, market out, or no? You said inventory's tight. Labor for new construction's tight. Am I going to be up against it for a year, 2 years? I mean, could I be sitting in a rental 3-5 years waiting for the perfect storm?
Yeah, well, if it were me, I would not be moving from the home I own into a rental situation there, because at least with the home I own, my costs are fairly fixed. Yeah, there's going to be repairs, but really my mortgage is fixed.
You'd have to make those repairs anyways, even if you sold the home.
Exactly. So I probably wouldn't do that.
Well, when I think about it, you have so many years of experience. You've went through cycles of these markets. It's so funny to have such a great, when I hear people saying, I'm selling in one of the best sellers markets of all time. I said, yes, but where are you moving?
Yeah.
So if you're not moving down and you're making a lateral move or maybe going up, way up, That would have to be pretty far up to make it worthwhile. It's tough. Mike, I want to thank you for being around. I mean, this is the kind of information we need in a market like this. You have 42 years experience. You've lived through cycles like this before. I really appreciate it. Listen, I want to thank Mike for sharing his series on the residential housing market. And keep in mind, before moving forward with any of the ideas on this show, check with your tax consultant, legal counsel, financial advisor, and in this case, real estate agent. Don't go alone on this. You can't sell your home in a market like this. You need a professional. You've been watching Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game.